1986, I'm sitting on the curb. My mama come home. She say, "Baby Ray, what you doing?" I said, "Mom, I'm waiting for my daddy to come get me." She said, "Baby Ray, your daddy ain't coming." I said, "Mom, somebody said daddy in town and he coming to get me for Christmas." She said, "Baby Ray, your daddy ain't coming." I said, "Mom, I'm not leaving. I'm going to sit right here." 7:30 came by, 8:30, 9:30. She came back out and said, "Son, get up. He ain't coming." I said, "Mom, he got to come. I'll be all right." I sat there till 11:30 at night. She finally walked over to me. She said, "Baby Ray, get up. He ain't coming." And I remember getting up from that freaking curve. And I told my mama that day, "Mama, no pain will ever stop me from taking care of you and my brothers and sisters. Because nobody knows what I'm dealing with. The greatest pain a man will ever go through in his life is the disconnection of a father. When you know he living." I thank my father because we're friends now. But I thanked my father for not coming around me when I was a child. Because the way he was living wasn't the way I was supposed to live. So sometimes to really find the root of who you are, you must go back generationally and find out if you're following the same curses. That's what pain is. Pain is a repetition of the psyche. Until you learn how to figure it out, until you learn how to tap it on the back and say, "I know you there, but I'm built to deal with you." I don't want nobody to leave here today and not understand why we must find a way to push through pain to understand that's on the other side of that is glory. The night before the Super Bowl, I retore my tricep. Couldn't tell nobody. I couldn't go to the doctors. I couldn't go to my teammates. What I was gonna tell them? That I can't play. I retore it. And it was bleeding so bad, and it was burning so bad that I took a shoestring from one of my shoes. And one of the fire spigots, I tied a shoestring around the tire spigot and tied it around my arm to hang my arm up just so I can get 3 hours of sleep. And I held it there all night, and that shoestring held my arm there all night. And I got up and I walked in that stadium. And I'll never forget this. If anybody's ever saw this ride, I came out of halftime and we busting San Fran up. I'm sorry if there's any 49er fan. You know, I know we on the West Coast. But I come out of halftime and I stayed in there a little longer because I got ready to tell my trainers, I'm like, "Man, listen, I can't even punch nobody with my arm. It's hurting that bad." I said, "I got it." A whisper came to me. "It ain't about you. It's about the team. It's about the team." I came out the locker room, my arm burning so bad. Jacoby Jones was walking to the end zone to receive the kickoff. I'm running towards the sideline. My arm burning so bad, God said, "Go touch Jacoby." I turned around and put both of my hands on Jacoby's chest. And I said, "I'm just doing what God told me to do." And I ran back to the sideline and I watched Jacoby go 109 yards. So everything that moment told me was sometimes your greatest pain, it ain't even about you. It's about a greater purpose.
I delegate everything that I think is not the single most important things in the world, and then I micromanage the things that I think are the most important things in the world. Luckily for me, hence why I've been able to build big companies, I don't think most things matter. So I don't think I'm any different than anybody else. I actually think everybody is a delegator and a micromanager. I just think that my radar of what's important is different. Yes, we need to do something with that. That's the guys. That's it right there. I'm just like you. We're all the same. We all delegate, we all micromanage. The difference is, I don't think most things matter. And what do I mean by that? As I'm trying to think about somebody watching this for the first time, instead of alluding to like people that have watched forever. Most things don't matter. Like, I don't know, like just, I don't know, that's what it means. Like, you know, like if I was like, I don't know, I don't think lighting matters as much as D-Rock. Like, I just don't think things matter. Like, I don't think like one client that's gonna put us out of it, like, I don't think one employee is gonna kill our atmosphere. I don't think a lot of things matter. I don't think like a misspelling in a deck is something that really matters to a lot of people in my company. It just doesn't matter to me. I just don't think so. Guys, I don't think we're gonna lose a count because we put the I before the E. And if we do, them. Idiots. I don't think not wearing shoes in an establishment is, the biggest thing in the world. Clearly, if you've watched Daily V1, some people do. And guess what? I do not judge. Do not judge. Everybody's allowed to do their thing. It's just like parenting. I will never spew my parenting thing. I talk about it, but it's very holistic. Like, this is what I do, not what I'm telling you to do. This is me. So ultimately, I think that I'm both. Like everybody in the world, I just think that I deem what's most important at a very, very high level on things that most people, you know what? A lot of you are commenting about my 5-minute meetings. Most of you, because you're part of my community, think it's great. A lot of comments on YouTube and Facebook of like, oh, I like Daily V because Gary spends 5, that's nice. One comment, I work in a small, and by the way, whoever said this is gonna see this and be like, holy crap, he reads everything. I've worked at small companies where the boss didn't even know my name, you know what I mean? Like, this is cool, but do you know how many people think it's stupid? I have a lot of people in my life that think that I'm very busy and I have a lot of things to do, and why in the world, Gary, it's not scalable, it's not sustainable. Yeah, you're making that face because you're so in our cocoon, but like, boy, just like, they're like, don't do that. It's not bad, nobody expects you to do it, not at this scale, and you have a great culture and you have great intent, just do that. I'm like, nope, this thing matters to me. So I'm micromanaging a hello into my company 3 to 6 months in, that a lot of people outsource to an HR person or to leadership. So I do unscalable things all the time, micromanaging if I deem them the most important. Pitching new business, I like to micromanage that because it's important to win business. Like, money helps me keep doing everything.
Some adults never figure out that unhappy states do not work when they're adults. And they continue to practice what they learned as little children for the rest of their lives, never realizing that it doesn't work. So the recognition that negative thinking and unhappy states actually do nothing to change anything. If anything, they make it worse. So if there's enough awareness and you can suddenly look at that, and then you can ask yourself from the deeper perspective of awareness, do I want to continue to think these thoughts? Is that helpful or good? Do I really want that? What is it doing? What would it be? How would I experience this situation without it? So you can, as awareness comes in, choice comes in. And then there are moments when you may be able to step out and just be present, and the negative mental emotional stream subsides, but it's not gone yet, because you don't get rid of it that easily. A few moments later, another thought comes into your head, and immediately a new train of negative thinking starts. And you can feel the pull of it. It can be very, very strong, especially if it's been in your life for a long time. You feel the pull of negative thinking. Come this way. This is so familiar. This is where you belong. This is who you are. And then you need awareness. So you can't fight the negative states, because that's another negative state. But you can be aware and see its futility, and ultimately see also how that you are addicted to it. But when you see it, you're not completely addicted anymore. You're only completely addicted when you don't see it. When you see it, you are the awareness. When there's no awareness, you are it. Then you are the ego. Then you are the ego that's addicted to unhappiness.
I have failed far more times than I've succeeded. You will never succeed more than you fail, because failure is a wonderful teacher. It's the only way to learn. Failure is a part of the process to becoming successful. Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player in the world, he took 946 game-winning shots. The ball has been in his hand to take the game-winning shot with no time on the clock. He has missed over 700 times, but he has made 146. They write about when you make it. When you get through failing, all you got to do is make one.
It's not always true that people who know better do better. You know the discipline that's required to get your life together. I hate my normal, but I'm afraid of change. So I stick with the devil I know. Have you ever grown up and rethought your choices? Have you ever looked back at your life in retrospect and found yourself in situations that were based on bad information, selfishness, emotionalism, pride, and now you're more mature and you wonder what you could have been had you started earlier on the right road, and you lay down at night, wonder what would have happened had I not got myself stuck?
You're strong enough, and your life is worth whatever you have to go through. This dream you got, whatever you want to do, will it happen overnight? No. Will it be a struggle? Yes. Will there be times you won't know what to do? Yes, that's a part of it. Will there be times when you can't make ends meet? Yes, that's a part of it. Will you have some opposition? Will things go wrong sometimes? But somebody must have told people, oh, life is going to be real easy. If they told you that, I've got a special announcement. They lied.
Paul said in Romans, as far as you can, live at peace with everyone. It doesn't say that you're always going to have peace with every person. Some people don't want to have peace with you. David's brother didn't want peace. He was jealous. He was small-minded. He wanted to stir things up. David had to accept that his brother was not going to be at peace with him. Well, Joel, shouldn't I go the extra mile? Shouldn't I be the bigger person? Yes, but if you do all that and they still don't want peace, you need to move on. You have a destiny to fulfill. Your assignment is waiting on you. You can't worry about people that don't want to have peace with you. And I'm all for being nice, but at some point you have to put your foot down and say, you may have a problem with me, no disrespect, but I don't have time to have a problem with you. I don't have time to play petty games to try to convince you that I'm okay. Life is too short to try to have peace with people that don't want to have peace with you. Some of your relatives, you love them, but you have to love them from a distance. Don't frustrate yourself trying to make things happen that they don't want to happen. And that's not being disrespectful, that's being responsible with the gifts God has given you. My nature is to be a peacemaker. I want everybody to be happy. I'll go the extra mile 400 times to make peace. But some people have their own issues. They don't get along with themselves. How are they going to get along with you? They don't like who they are. How are they going to like who you are? No matter what you do, it's not going to be enough. They're going to find fault, be critical, try to make you feel guilty. If you keep trying to appease them, keep bending over backwards, spending all your time and energy, all that's doing is letting them control you. Be nice, but don't get distracted trying to have peace with someone that doesn't want peace. We all have people in our life like David's brother. They don't like seeing you happy, rising higher, going places. It's not about you, it's about the favor on your life. It's about the blessing God put on you. Don't take it personally. Keep your face set. You won't fulfill your destiny if you're trying to keep everyone happy. And some people that make the most withdrawals put in the least deposits. They're high maintenance people. They expect you to always be there to help them, to encourage them, to meet their every demand. But when you need something, they're never around. They're too busy. If that friendship is one-sided, they're doing all the taking and none of the giving, you need to make a change. I've heard it said, quit swimming across an ocean to be good to someone that won't jump across a puddle to be good to you. And if they get offended because you don't meet every expectation, they weren't a true friend. They just want you for what you can do for them. Those are distractions. You need to gradually break away from people like that. You were not created to be controlled, to never have any time to pursue what God put in your heart? Well, Joel, what if they get upset? What if I hurt their feelings? I would rather disappoint a few people than to disappoint God. Because when you come to the end of life, you won't give an account to people of what you did with your time, your talents, your resources. You'll give an account to God. Romans 13 says, owe no person anything except to love them. The only thing you really owe people is to love them. But if you think you have to keep everyone happy, and I got to keep this one cheered up, and I got to call this one every day or they'll get upset. I got to play up to my coworker or they won't be my friend. You are carrying a debt that you don't owe. Don't go through life trying to please everyone. If you try to keep every person happy, the one person that won't be happy is you. Come out from under that debt. Be nice, go the extra mile, but don't be a people pleaser. This was hard for me because I want people to like me. I'll go out of my way, do everything I can. But some people, no matter what you do, it's not going to be enough. It's very freeing when you realize you are not responsible to keep other people happy. You're responsible for your own happiness. Now, I don't mean to live selfish and only think about you, but don't take that false sense of responsibility thinking that other people's happiness depends on you. There was this couple I knew years ago. I went out of my way to be good to them. They moved to another city and I helped them move. I gave them money. I would call and check on them. If they needed anything, I was always available. But the feeling I got from them is I was never doing enough. They were never satisfied. They always had a complaint. Here I was going overboard to be kind and generous, but they were constantly finding fault, trying to make me feel guilty. I was concerned that they would get upset and they weren't going to be my friend. One day I realized what I'm telling you. They were only making withdrawals, never any deposits. I was nice, but I quit letting them control me. When I stopped, you would have thought I'd taken their firstborn child. They tried to make me feel so guilty, so ashamed, but my attitude was, I love you, but I don't owe you. If someone is controlling you, it's not their fault, it's yours. You have to put your foot down, make a change. This is your hour. You cannot reach your destiny dragging people along, trying to keep everyone happy. I know people that spend more time worried about what other people think about them than they do pursuing their own dreams and goals. And it's great to get free from addictions, free from depression, but one of the greatest freedoms is to get free from people. Because everyone has an opinion. These days, with social media, it's easier to express than ever. People will tell you what to wear, and how to raise your kids, and what you're doing wrong, and what to drive. They're quick to tell you how to run your life. Sometimes they can't even run their own life. And it's good to take advice. It's good to listen to wise counsel, but nobody can hear what you hear on the inside. Other people may mean well, but they don't know what God put in you. They don't know the gifts, the dreams, the calling. You have to have a boldness to follow what God's put in your heart. You can't worry about what everybody else thinks. Joel, what if they get upset? What if they don't agree? If someone gets offended because you're not taking their advice, that's not your problem. If you live by the opinion of others, you will never become who you were created to be. Because people will try to keep you in their box, in who they want you to be. There was this grandfather. He and his small grandson were taking a trip into town. He started off letting the grandson ride the donkey. He was walking alongside. Someone passed by and said, look at that selfish little boy making that old man walk. He took the boy off, put him on the ground. He got on the donkey. The boy was walking alongside. Somebody passed by and said, look at that man making that little boy walk while he rides. He picked the boy up and put him on the donkey with him. A few minutes, someone passed and said, how cruel of the two of you to place that heavy load on the donkey. By the time they got to town, the grandfather and grandson were carrying the donkey. Everybody has a right to have their opinion, and you have the right not to take it.
Let's talk about what nobody wants to talk about. Who here has ever failed? Who's here has failed miserably at something you wanted to achieve? When you failed, why did you fail? Didn't have enough time, didn't have the right technology, didn't have the money, didn't have the contacts, had the wrong people. The people said we had the wrong leader. Everything you people have told me, I didn't have the technology, I didn't have the right contacts, I didn't have the time, I didn't have money. Everything you've told me, I didn't have enough Supreme Court justices. Those are resources. And so you're telling me I failed because I didn't have the resources. And I'm here to tell you what you already know. Resources are never the problem. It's a lack of resourcefulness is why you failed. Because the ultimate resources are emotional states. If you're creative enough, can you find the answer? Yes or no? If you're determined enough, can you find the breakthrough? Yes or no? If you're passionate and loving enough, can you get someone to help you? Yes or no? If there's no way that you're committed, can you find the money even if you don't have it? Yes or no? So I said creativity, decisiveness, passion, honesty, sincerity, love. These are the ultimate human resources. And when you engage these resources, you can get any other resource on earth. And I said, so you told me all the resources you're missing and you hypnotize yourself into believing that you don't have what you want because you don't have the resources, when the most successful people in history had no resources, but they were incredibly resourceful, so they got the resources. Resourcefulness is the ultimate resource. And if you don't have what you want, stop telling yourself the story because you don't have the money, you don't have the time. That's bullshit. It's because you haven't committed yourself where you would burn your boats. If you want to take the fucking island, burn your fucking boats, and you will take the island, because people, when they're going to either die or succeed, tend to succeed. But most of us give ourselves a way out, and that's why we don't have what we want. So if you and I really want to know what's going to take to get your dream and make it real, it's to stop all the things you told yourself that aren't. And I'm here to tell you what I said at the top of our discussion. 80% of success is psychology and 20% is mechanics. That's true of running your business. That's true of your intimate relationship. That's true of your body. That's true in your level of happiness. So you got to know the 20% because that gives you the edge, right? Those strategies. But you got to know the psychology. If you're in business right now, there's a few things. The chokehold on the growth of your business is you. It is not your people. It is the leader of this organization. The leader is the chokehold. And the chokehold comes in one of two forms. Your psychology. You think you've tried everything. You've tried everything but what fucking works. Or it's a skill that you're missing. Like you really are incredible at writing code, but you don't know shit about accounting and finance, and it's eating your business alive. Because I got to tell you, 96% of all businesses in a 10-year period of time go under. Only 4% make it. By the way, make it doesn't mean that you succeed and have any money. It just means you're still standing. 4%. And by the way, after 10 years, you're set, right? There's no more challenges. If you got in a business and you're in it right now, I love you, I respect you as a brother or sister, and I know you're a crazy son of a bitch just like me. You have to be. Who gets in a sport where the longer you play, the more likely you die? You're a gladiator if you're in business. A gladiator goes out there and they know every time I go out I can die, and the longer I stay in the game, the more likely I die, but every day they go out to win. That takes an incredible psychology. But in that psychology, we bump onto limits, and that's what you got to shift. And if your psychology is solid, you got to say, where are the skills I'm missing? Because that's equally important. If you don't know how to market in the world we're in today, if you don't know the cutting edge of marketing, I'm only here today. I have the privilege to be with you here. I created a brand, and that's why I have the privilege to serve you. But that brand came because I realized early in my career, I can have the best ideas in the world, but they're going to die on my lips unless I can market them, unless I can build a brand. It is the most important thing today because the world is made up of commodities. The world is so competitive. If you're a commodity, if you're a race for the lowest price, you will be out of business within 10 years, probably more like 2 to 5.
You have to have something that separates you from everybody else on earth, and until you find out that something, you will be stressed and you will be struggling. But everybody has it, or anybody can create it. That's my expertise. My companies, I started with 0. We do more than 5 billion with a B per year, my companies, combined. How the f did you do that when it's not even your focus? We all have a set of belief systems, different kinds of beliefs, about if something happens, then it means something else. So for example, do we have rules for like what people do if they love us? Yes or no? So if a person loves you, then they what? They respect you. And by the way, does this person also then have a set of rules for if you respect them, then you, and they have to look at them a certain way, don't raise your voice. If you respect me, then you don't raise your voice. If you respect me, then you tell me the truth. If you respect me, you follow what I'm saying here? And you know, the problem is all these rules are unconscious. What else? If a person loves you, they what? Trust you. Good. If a person loves you, then they communicate. If a person loves you, then they compromise. Now, some people's rules are, never in life do you compromise. To compromise is to give up your integrity. Some people's idea of integrity is if you compromise, then you have no integrity. A lot of us have rules that are absolutely totally unfair to us. For example, my favorite program that I do is all on this destiny technology I developed, where I ask the question constantly, what makes people do what they do? And I started asking that question more intensely after a guy embezzled $250,000 from me and had me $758,000 in debt. So I came up with all these incredible distinctions, and I refined them the last 3 or 4 years by doing a research project. My research project is called Date with Destiny. What it is the most powerful program I do. I take only 100 people at a time. I've been doing this now for about 2.5 years. And before they even get there, I get about 18 pages from them on every emotion they ever feel, what triggers it for them, what they believe is most important in life, what they think their experiences of life were, and I analyze every single thing about this person I can. And we bring them in here and we find out what their core beliefs and values and rules are. Because that determines how you interpret your life, how you feel about it. Then we change that and change their whole life. So for example, if your highest value in life was security, you're going to make decisions differently than if your number one value is adventure, right? Well, if you had somebody's highest value is security, the last one was adventure, one day you swap them, it might change their personality a little bit. It changes everything, everything. And we don't do it haphazardly, we find out where they want in their life, and we make sure their values are consistent with what they want, because most people are being pulled in 2 different directions, right? They want to like be successful and they don't want to ever be rejected. Guess again. And most people are trying to meet 2 masters that can't be met, so they get pulled apart and they sabotage a lot of stuff. But the biggest challenge for people, I think, is their rules. Most people in life have wired their brain where it's really, really hard to feel good. Every upset you've ever had or you ever will have with another human being is a rules upset. You are not upset with a human being. You're upset with their rules because you have a different set of rules. So every upset you've ever had with another human being has been a rules upset. And whether we get pain or whether we get pleasure in any moment is not based on what happens, but our giving ourselves that pain and pleasure based upon our rules.
People don't have enough rules in their life for themselves. So for instance, I get out of bed in 10 minutes or less. Doesn't matter. And I don't want to. That's why I have the rule. Because I went through,
callous your mind.
Literally, I went through a period where I would lay in bed for 3 to 4 hours, awash in shame at my inability to get out of bed. And it just embarrassed me. And so I felt badly about myself. So I wanted to make a change. So I knew that I needed a bright line. So bright line, 10 minutes or less, you get out of bed as soon as you realize you're awake. That's it. So, and the rule is more specific. It's like I have to have had at least 5 hours of sleep. But once you put the rule in place, then you just live by it. And that's how you earn credibility. Like right now, I don't feel the way telling you that I want to feel. This is a good moment. He's on my team. I'm pointing at him. This is a good moment. So I'm saying this and I don't feel good about saying it. Why? Because today, I don't know what happened. I got out of bed in 11 minutes and I was so
You literally time it?
Oh yeah.
I mean, from waking up to actually physically getting out of the bed?
Correct. My feet must be on the floor and I must be standing up before it ticks over into the 11th minute. And today, I don't know what happened. I was aware of the time. I knew I needed to get up. And for whatever reason, one of the minutes just went faster than I thought. When I looked back, I was like, damn it. And so
I'm surprised you even made it here today then.
Right? So now this comes into like knowing how to handle something like that. Like if you totally fall apart because you don't live up to one of your rules, you're violating another one of my rules, which is don't do anything that doesn't move you towards your goals. So it's like, yes, it is a part of my identity to confess this. So because I'm talking about it, I want to say it now to an audience. It's the only thing that will allow me to reset and be able to feel good about it again, because I don't lie when I miss it. I own it.
Well, look, if your biggest problem is it took you 11 minutes to get out of bed,
sadly, that's not 10, my biggest problem.
This is a high quality problem.
Right. Yes, very true. But my thing is people don't have the rules. And so I have other rules. For instance, I wear a size 32 pant. That's it. And so
no matter what your waist is.
No. I won't let my waist get out of line with that. So I use the pants as a way to guide. Now I would go down if I got so lean that I was, a 31. That's not a problem. But I'm not going to allow myself to go up. And it's super tempting, like especially around Christmas. I don't try to hold abs through the winter. So yeah, during Christmas, like right now, I do not have abs. So, and I'm totally fine with that. I switch a different part of my mentality. During the holidays, my wife and I definitely celebrate with food, and it's amazing, and I love it the most. So, but if that celebration took me up to like 32s don't fit anymore, I got to cut back because I have a rule. So it's like, that's how I keep myself in a lane. I keep myself from getting into trouble. I know the things that I accept for myself and what I don't accept for myself. And it's all like stated. It's very clear.
Stop doing the things that you know are wrong that you could stop doing. Right? So it's a fairly limited attempt. First of all, we're not going to say that you know what the good is or what the truth is in any ultimate sense. But we will presume that there are things that you're doing that for one reason or another you know are not in your best interests. There's something about them that you just know you should stop. They're kind of self-evident to you. Other things you're going to be doubtful about. You're not going to know which way is up and which way is down. But there are things that you're doing that you know you shouldn't do. Now, some of those you won't stop doing. For whatever reason, you don't have the discipline, or maybe there's a secondary payoff, or you don't believe it's necessary, or it's too much of a sacrifice, or you're angry or resentful or afraid, who knows? So forget about those for now. But there's another subset that you could stop doing. It might be a little thing. Well, that's fine. Stop doing it and see what happens. And what'll happen is your vision will clear a little bit. And then something else will pop up in your field of apprehension that you will also know you should stop doing, and that you could stop doing because you've strengthened yourself a bit by stopping doing the particular stupid thing that you were doing before. That just puts you together a little bit more. And you could do that repeatedly for an indefinite period of time. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to ever be able to formulate a clear and final picture of what constitutes the truth and the good, but it does mean that you'll be able to continually move away from what's untruth and what's bad. And that's not a bad start.
This is a very crucial concept for me and for virtually all of us. It's this idea of taking your life in your own hands and being the kind of person that you choose to be, and understanding that everything that comes your way is an opportunity, is a blessing. And it wasn't until I learned how to celebrate virtually everything that came my way that I was able to transcend it. You see, everything that was given to us by God, whatever that is perfect. No one can deny the mountains are perfect and the rivers are perfect and the birds are perfect and the hippopotamuses are perfect and so on. This is just what was given to us. Everything else that you have on our planet, that we have on our planet, comes about as a result of thinking. Thought makes it so. All right? This microphone comes about as a result of thinking. Somebody imagines it. Somebody then tells somebody else, and it creates it. The dress that you're wearing, this shirt that the shoes that you have, the stage, these cameras. Everything that you see that wasn't given to us was created by man as a result of the way that we think, So what gets inside of us as a cell comes about as a result of the way that we choose to think in our lives. Very important principle to understand, because once you get a hold of thinking and that it creates everything that you have in your life, you can change and make it as absolutely perfect as you want it to be, because thought makes it so.
I started feeling like, I think everybody knows, I've moved my whole life on instinct, you know. I feel like now it's time to let the show go. I feel like it's time to move on because I've grown as much as I can grow. When I've grown as much as I can grow in a space, that's my instinct to move.
We have more power to influence our thoughts and our beliefs. And so there are a lot of tools and techniques out there that are resources. Like when I grew up, we didn't have any, we had no money, right? I had no education because I was very learning challenged. I didn't know anybody, right? So I feel like it's not, when people are, that's where they'll go though. When there's a stopgap between where they are and where they want to be, they'll say, oh, I don't have the money, or I don't have the education, or I don't have the intelligence, I don't have the network, or anything else like that. And you know, what you know, as for all incredible success you've had and the value you've created for the world, is that it's not about resources, right? Because we know a lot of people who didn't have any resources that were able to impact the world. It's about our internal resources. And what I'm saying is optimizing our environment, optimizing our behaviors, our capabilities, our beliefs and our values, and our identity, right? At the highest level, our identity, because you can't just change your belief or your values or your behavior even if you don't believe you're that kind of person. You know, that's why I kind of always go to the superhero mythos, because I want people to claim that identity. I call it the superhero you, that version of ourselves, that we're not waiting for Superman or Batman or Wonder Woman. It's like, you are Wonder Woman, you are Batman, you are Superman. It's just we have to commit ourselves to be able to unleashing